In this video, I am going to show you how to make a mining pool for your coin. It is actually quite simple to do. A lot of it is just copy and paste installations. Now, why do we need a mining pool? In fact, we don't need to have our own mining pool for the release of our blockchain. But there is always a chance that, on launch day, there are no pools willing to add your coin. Maybe the time of your launch is not convenient for the pool owners. Or they are just not interested. In which case, we need to make sure there is a place for miners to mine your coin. Always hope for the best but prepare for the worst. There are advantages to owning a pool. Like I said, knowing you have a pool at launch no matter what will ease stress on launch day. You do not need to use it if you have other pools though. Also, when you have an official pool for your coin, you can customize it to reflect your brand image. Maybe change the font colors and add images, etc. You will also earn some mining fees. But in all honesty, I would not use your official pool if you don't have to. Just create one in case it is needed. There are disadvantages to owning a pool. Firstly, you need to manage it and respond to miners. When you launch your own coin, you have other things to deal with. You don't want to be juggling too much at the same time. Next, you will notice other pools who list your coin will get annoyed at the official pool. Anyone mining on the official pool will be seen by them as lost revenue. They want the miners on their pool. Last but not least, dealing with pool problems can be a headache. Not only are you dealing with miners' issues, such as missing payments or the inability to connect to the Stratum, or they can't figure out how to configure their BAT file properly, but also you are dealing with the problems that arise from the actual pool. It's not an easy task, and sometimes it's not worth the effort. Knowing how to create a pool is great anyway. Hopefully you won't need it on launch day. Okay, let's begin. The first thing we need to do is create a new server. As you can see, we have already created 3 servers. During the process of creating our tutorial coin, Vision X, we are going to create another server and name it Mining Pool. Click on Deploy Server. Now we are going to choose Cloud Compute. Then choose a server from any destination. Then choose an Ubuntu 16.04x64 as our server type. Choose the $5 option. Then click Deploy Now. Wait for that to install. When it has finished, click on Manage. It may need a little more time to finish the installations, so don't SSH into it for a few minutes. Here, we can rename it to Mining Pool. This way it will be easier to identify in our list of servers. You should always label your servers. As we are working from Windows, we need to use an SSH client. For this we will be using PuTTY. If you don't have it already installed, you can download it from here. PuTTY.org. So we need the IP address to SSH into the server. Copy the address and open PuTTY. Paste it into the host name box. Then click on Open. Open. As this is a fresh server, you will be asked if you trust the host. Click Yes to continue on. Log in as root, and copy and paste the password from your server login. Now move over to the paste bin I have provided. Like I said before, this will be a lot of copy and pasting. The first thing we are going to do is create a new user on the server. We will call this user pool. You will be asked to create a password for this user. Make sure you remember this password. Then you will be asked to provide user information. There is no need for this, so just leave blank and hit enter on all of them to set the default. When prompted, type Y and hit enter. Next, we want to give this new user sudo permissions. So, copy and paste this command into the terminal. Then, we are going to move over to the user named pool. For this command, it will not work if you copy and paste. So manually type sudo-pool. Now you can see we have switched users from root to pool. Back in the paste bin, copy the next line and paste it into the terminal. Hit enter. As you are using the sudo command, you will need to first provide your password for the user named pool. This you may find has already been pre-installed on the server. It's always best to check though. The next command to install the Nano editor is the same. It is pre-installed already, but run the command to make sure. Now we are going to install the YAMP mining pool. This will be cloned from the YAMP repository on GitHub, created by Zavatar. Copy and paste the command into the terminal. Let that clone to your server. Next, we are going to go into the folder named YAMP install script. And we are going to launch install.sh. Copy and paste the command to launch the installation. You will be given some options for setup. First, your time zone. For this tutorial, I will just choose the suggested time zone. Next, your server name. As we do not have our server connected to a domain, we just use the IP address. We can connect the mining pool to a subdomain later. If you already have the server linked to a domain or subdomain, then add the domain here. If not, stick with just the IP address of the server. Moving on, we are going to type N for no, as we are not using a subdomain yet. For support mail, choose an email address you want to use. I will use a fictitious one for this tutorial. Next, setting the pool to auto exchange. Type N for no and hit enter. After that, you will need to decide the way you enter the admin panel. I have chosen to use site/myadmin, all lowercase. Remember this, as you will need it soon. Next, you will be asked for your IP address. This is the IP address of the computer you are currently using. The reason why this is needed is to allow access to the admin panel by users with your IP only. You can change this IP address in the settings later if needed. For example, if you want to access your admin panel from another location with a different IP, you will need to change it if your IP address changes at any point. To find your IP, just go to whatsmyip.org. At the top of the screen in large yellow numbers will be your IP address. Highlight and copy that over to the terminal. Type Y to install Fail2ban. Fail2ban is for intrusion prevention. If we are going to have wallets holding coins on this server, we need to be sure nobody can hack it. Fail2ban is used to block brute force attempts on the server. Next, type Y to install UFW and configure ports. This will let the installation open ports required. Type N for no when asked to install the SSL. We do not have a domain yet, so there is no SSL required at this point. If you want a free SSL certificate, you can get one later at cloudflare.com. Now it will install the pool and use the setting you provided for setup. I will speed up this part of the video. It took almost 8 minutes to complete. Now that has installed, we can see what it looks like. Go back and copy the IP address of the server. Paste it into the browser. You will see that we have successfully installed our YAML pool. But there are still some things we need to do to make it functional. We're going to change the name from YAML to our own pool name. Return to the terminal and use cd ... to go back one level. Then copy the command cd/var/web. This will take us to the server config file. Here we can edit the file and make some changes. Using ls will show us that the server config file is inside this folder. We are now going to copy and paste the next command. This command will use nano to edit the file. Scroll down until you see the site URL. This should be the IP address of your server. Check that it's correct. 2 lines below that, you will see the site name. It is set to YAML. Change that to your pool name. If we look back at our pool, we can see where the pool name is displayed. Through the process of this program, we have created a coin named VisionX. So, for this tutorial I will be treating this mining pool as an official pool setup. I will name this pool VisionX Official Pool. Scroll down to the bottom. It is here where you can set the pool fees for specific algo. If a coin's algorithm is not set here, it will be set at 0.5% by default. For this tutorial we are going to keep the default settings. Now we can exit this file by holding Ctrl and X. Then press Y to confirm you want to save the file, and press Enter to complete the exit. Now, when we return to the pool, we can see the changes. Refresh your browser. Our pool has now been renamed. Head back to the terminal. We still need to do more to complete the setup. In the terminal, type cd. This will take us back to the main directory. Then we are going to check we can log in to the pool as admin. Remember the name you used when installing. I used my admin, all lowercase. Paste this into the browser after your IP address. You should now have access to the admin page. Here is where you control things, such as adding coins and making payments to miners. Here there are a load of pre-installed settings and wallets. And here you can see the details of the miners on your pool. If you want to look up a wallet address used for mining, you can do that here. Returning to the home page, we can see that we have no coins on our pool. We will be following the setup process to add our tutorial coin, Vision X, to the pool. So, back at the paste bin, copy and paste the command sudo-. This will switch us back to root user. We will need to enter the root password when prompted. Copy this from our server settings. Now you can see we are back using our root user. Return to our paste bin and copy the next command. This command, just like before, will clone the install script from GitHub. We already have this installed on as the user named pool, but we also need it on our root. Paste that into the terminal and return for the next command. This will enter the install script folder. Then copy the next command. Be careful here, I made a typo. Do not copy the V at the front of the command. The command should read, sudo bash screen-script.sh. The V is a typo, do not use it. Okay, paste in that command. Then type cd to return to the main directory again. We're going to use the next command to view our screens. Screen-ls. You will see a list of screens for the pool. The next thing we are going to do is type screen-r. Then add a space. We are going to copy the main screen. Paste it in the command line and hit enter. You will then move on to this screen. You need to use Ctrl+A+D to exit the screen. Next, return to the list of screens by typing screen-ls again. Then, type screen-r space and copy the loop to details. Exit the screen. Repeat the process for the blocks screen. With that done, clear your terminal.